T-minus 30 seconds. 20 seconds.
Stage 1 present for flight.
15. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff of the Falcon 9. Drop AVIRC and GNC proceeding procedure 3.170 for post-launch flight operation. GC, move to section post-launch pad operations to secure the pad on net A. Moving to post-launch pad operations.
They bring the PUs active. Stage 1 propulsion. Stage 1.
T+1 minute and 17 seconds into flight. You've heard the call out. Falcon 9 performance is nominal as we head downrange over the Pacific Ocean, flying south from the launch site at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. We're passing through the region of maximum dynamic pressure right now. This is where the high pressure of the atmosphere combines with the speed of the rocket to provide the greatest stresses on the Falcon 9 vehicle. We throttle the engines down as we pass through this phase, then throttle them back up as we proceed on into orbit. The major activity coming up will be main engine cutoff at T+2 minutes and 25 seconds. We'll listen for that, followed shortly after by stage separation and then ignition of the second stage engine. Let's listen in as the Falcon 9 continues to head downrange, preparing for shutdown of the first stage and stage separation and ignition of the second stage. T+2 minutes and 48 seconds into flight. We've had successful shutdown separation of the Falcon 9 first stage. The second stage engine is lit. You can see it there. We're coming up on 3 minutes as we head into low Earth orbit. Everything looking good.
So as you just heard from John Innsbrucker, it sounds like the Falcon 9 first stage has successfully separated from the second stage, and the second stage engine has successfully ignited. It means we're on our way to orbit.
So following that awesome success, there's still a lot more to go. One of the cool things that's about to happen is we are going to begin the recovery operations, or rather the first stage flyback operations.
That's going to consist of that flip maneuver where the rocket is moving in one direction and it will actually flip itself over. Then it will light the engines on the back end, and that will begin a boost back burn to bring the first stage back towards the drone ship. Next up, I think we have a re-entry burn, and that'll slow down the rocket from about 2 kilometers per second down to 1 kilometer per second. It's still really fast, but any sort of decrease of energy that you can get in moving that direction is going to be better for decreasing the aerodynamic stresses on the vehicle.
And the last and final burn, coming up just a little bit later, is going to be the landing burn. That's when the first stage, right as it gets close to the deck of Just Read the Instructions, slows itself down, opens up its landing legs, and prepares for a soft touchdown on the deck of the autonomous spaceport drone ship.
And just to remind you guys, this is an experimental secondary part of this mission today, but obviously something we all get really, really excited about here. But the primary mission is launching these satellites, right?
I believe we've already separated the fairing, and that's to get rid of the excess weight, the excess mass rather, so that for the same force you can accelerate faster. I'd say, again, moving at 8 kilometers per second is the final goal to be circling the Earth, which is, again, 10 times the speed of a rifle bullet. As much help as you can get to minimize the amount of mass that you need to accelerate to that speed is better.
Yeah, the fairing is kind of like it's just a big windshield for the satellites. Satellites really aren't built to withstand intense aerodynamic forces because they're meant to operate inside the vacuum of space. So what we do is we lose that fairing as soon as we get out of the atmosphere, and that's where we are right now.
Yes, and so, look at that. You can see that the first stage grid fins are deployed. Now those grid fins are powered by nitrogen thrusters, and they're used to actually steer and guide the rocket back down to Earth.
They're useful both at high speeds when you're moving at very supersonic, and again when you're starting to move slower, but not when you're going through the transition of the speed of sound. They become less helpful.
All right, we're going to go to John I.
We're at T plus 5.5 minutes into the flight. Second stage continuing to head downrange as we go into what will be the first of 2 orbits, the low Earth orbit, followed by a coast phase, then a reignition of the second stage engine later on this morning to get the 10 Iridium satellites into their final orbit. Now currently you can see the nozzle. Well, you can't see the nozzle of the second stage because we're showing you the first stage right now. Grid fins are deployed. We're coming up on the next first stage event, which will be in about 17 seconds, which is beginning of the entry burn, which will then be followed shortly after that by the landing burn. On the right, you can see the second stage engine nozzle. That's currently glowing red. That's typical for the upper stage engine. Everything's looking good right now. Give me a second. Let me see how things are going on the first stage. And we're coming up on the engines. We have boost back burn. You can hear the applause in the background from the SpaceX team gathered around the Mission Control Center as we're watching the 3 Merlin engines on the first stage light, and we have got shutdown for the boost back burn. So currently we're coming up on T plus 7 minutes. Second stage continues to head into orbit. First stage is coming back to the drone ship. Let's go bound to the floor for the landing burn and the entry into orbit of the second stage.
So as you just saw, the re-entry burn for the first stage has just completed and looks successful. You can still see camera footage from the first stage descending down. Hopefully we'll be able to maintain video all the way down to the drone ship.
What a great shot that is. It's beautiful. Now, so as you know, sometimes we lose that video in the drone ship. There's a lot of vibrations happening there. We're going to try our best to keep that link, and hopefully once that landing burn hits, we'll catch it, we'll see it visually. And if all goes well, Falcon 9 will be standing proud there on the deck of our drone ship.
You may have noticed little puffs of what looked like smoke coming out from between the grid fins every once in a while. Those are part of the attitude control system. I think this is the
landing burn. Looks like
burn.
the landing burn has just started, so we should be coming right down on the deck of Just Read the Instructions.
This is a single engine landing burn, so it's a slower decrease in speed.
You can actually see the deck of the drone ship right now.
Wow.
Attempted anything on it for over a year, so we're all very happy. Now we have 2 drone ships that have both successfully received first stages.
Wow, and we can see it the entire way there. No video cut out, so props to our team for making that work. This is fantastic.
Yeah, that's standing right in the center of the X there.
What an amazing view.
Wow.